There is a hidden history that's been deliberately obfuscated from the peoples of the world, and that's why I am on the trail of the Nephilim.
The Genesis 6 narrative states that the Nephilim are on the earth in those days and also afterwards. If that's true, can we find evidence that corroborates this? I'm L.A. Marzulli. Join me as we go on the trail of the Nephilim.
We're going to be talking about this artifact, which was translated. It's a fragment of something that was found at Joshua's altar on Mount Elam. I think you'll find this absolutely fascinating. And in my opinion, it dovetails back into the Nephilim paradigm. But we'll get into that and so much more. But first, a word from our sponsor, Lifeline Screening.
Hey, listen to this. Cardiovascular diseases contribute to roughly 874,000 deaths each year. Anyone over the age of 40 should get checked annually to catch diseases early on. This is why I highly recommend getting yourself a prevention screen with Life Health Screening. They have industry-leading health screenings for cardiovascular disease, stroke, and most other chronic conditions. Early detection can help prevent progression before it's too late. If you wanted to get checked for cardiovascular disease, I highly recommend Life Health Screening. Check for special offers with a preventive health advisor by going to www.scheduleascreen.com or by visiting the link right on your screen. Once again, www.scheduleascreen.com. Scheduleascreen.com. Folks, I do it. Not this year, not for the last couple of years, but I have done it in the past, and it's the way to go. It gives you a little bit of peace of mind, especially when you're 71 years old.
Every Friday at 11 o'clock on the East Coast and 8 o'clock on the West Coast, I am on Jim Bakker's PTL Network with On the Trail of the Nephilim. It's a full-blown 30-minute program, broadcast quality. Spent a lot of time on this. If you want to help us stay on there and you want to sew into us, go to our Patreon account. Just go to our website, L.A. Marzulli, and support what we do. We've had a couple of sponsors. You know, because of what's going on with the economy, we lost 2 sponsors this month. So we're looking for sponsors. Not panicking. The Lord will provide. But if it's in your heart to help us out, that'd be really great. So moving right along, Homeward Bound, May 19th to the 22nd. You'll definitely want to get tickets to that. I think they've already got 700 people signed up for it. It might be the conference of the year. Stearman, Gonzalez, Price, Kenning, Ice, Salas, Marzulli, Crone, and a whole host of others will be there. My good friend Bob Ulrich has been working overtime on this conference. Folks, hope to see you in Colorado Springs. So here's a shot of Mount Elam in Israel, where the altar of Joshua was found. Here's the backstory. Read Joshua 7. So Joshua and the Israelites are pressing the conquests of Canaan. This is the backstory. This is why it's so important. They're pressing the conquest of Canaan. They go in and they destroy the city of Ai. To a man, woman, child, burn everything, right? Now that's genocidal unless something else is going on. And that something else, of course, is going on, which is why we're on the trail. The Nephilim are present in the land. There's no doubt about it. So in my opinion, all of Ai is under the sway of fallen angel activity on some level. So they find this inscription, and let me go back to this tablet right here. They find this, and you can see it's folded over. So they can't read it, but they can read it because they have machines like super X-ray machines that can go in and basically tell you what's written there. This is what the text says. The inscription on the discovered tablet reads, "Cursed, cursed, cursed. Cursed by the God Yahweh. You will be cursed. Cursed, you will surely die. Cursed by Yahweh. Cursed, cursed, cursed." So here's the deal. This is the first scripture that we have from about 3,500 years ago that mentions the name Yahweh, okay, which is absolutely incredible. And it gives the Israelites claim to the land in ways that are just unprecedented, which is why it's so important. But here's what I want to drill into. There's an altar on top of Mount Elam. Joshua goes there after the conquest of Ai. How do we know this? Well, we really don't. That's conjecture. But Joshua just in chapter 7 conquers Ai. The next scene that opens up, he's on Mount Elam and he's offering on this altar sacrifices to the Lord. The only time I've ever seen this type of severity is when the Nephilim are in play. So this is conjecture on my part. I will freely admit it. It'd be great to get some rabbis or other biblical scholars weighing in on it. Mondo and I have talked about it. He has a different interpretation than I do, which is fine. But this is my interpretation of this. The fact that it's so severe, so in your face, where there's not a shred of redemption, this curse, I'll read it again, cursed, 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 cursed by the God Yahweh. You will die, cursed. Cursed, you will surely die. Cursed by Yahweh. Cursed, cursed, cursed. The idea of this curse coming down from Father God himself has to apply to the Nephilim, in my opinion. There's not a wiggle room of grace, salvation, redemption. It's not there. It's not there. I find this absolutely incredible. I'm trying to get a hold of some rabbis. If you know a rabbi who would come on the record with me and talk about this, please let me know. He may have a totally different interpretation. I'm eager to get a different interpretation. But when I look at this in context of Joshua 7 and Joshua 8, chapter 7 and 8, in my opinion, this is a curse. Think about this. Cursed by the God Yahweh. You will die cursed. It's unbelievable. I think this is a judgment on Ai, a judgment, if you please, on the Nephilim itself. And that's why we're on the trail. Incredible piece of information. Folks, we have our 7-part series, the latest one, episode 7, On the Trail of the Nephilim, Lost Civilizations. You can go to our Uscreen account, which is streaming.lamarzulli.net, streaming.lamarzulli.net. If you want to buy the DVDs, you can do that also. So I interviewed this woman, and she's going to remain anonymous. She had an encounter. Here's the clip. So I'm here with a story by a woman, 22-year-old. Her name is Jessica, and she's up in the Portland area. And I get a lot of emails from people, as you all know. And I sometimes I track them down. Other times it's just I don't track them down. But this one I tracked down because it was definitely a strange story, and it has to do with this woman Jessica, who observed another woman standing in a rainstorm in Portland, and she was doing something. And Jessica, let me introduce you to the folks. Thanks for coming on the record. We really appreciate it.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So describe to us what happened and give us the setting. What day of the week was it? How long ago was this? And what did you see?
So this was about a week ago. I was having brunch with my friends on a Saturday morning. It was a very chill day, overcast. And we were sitting outside eating brunch. And I noticed from afar, about 5 yards away from me, this lady. She had dark hair, black, and very fair skinned. And she was dressed in a very different outfit, something that I would refer to as like a witchy outfit. And she was standing out in the rain, and I was observing her because her arms, she was moving her arms like she was almost trying to control the rain, or at least that's what I perceived it as. And I watched her for a good 5 to 10 minutes. And as I was watching her, she noticed that I was observing her. And she was slowly just like moving her hands up and down, like in and out. And then after a few minutes passed, she slowly raised both of her arms up. And as soon as both of her arms went up in the air, just rain, torrential downpoured. And it was very odd. And she noticed that I was watching her, and she looked back at me. And then I pointed at her, and I was like, I saw that. And then slowly, like everyone around me was starting to look at her, also other people that were not in my group. And she just smiled at me and walked away after that.
Now, when you say she was dressed in sort of a witchy outfit, describe that. What did that look like?
She was wearing a long, flowy skirt, a flowy jacket. I don't know if any of your viewers are familiar with like Portland style outfits at all, but it was very different. And she was wearing like crystals and jewels and stuff like that. So when she raised her hands up, at the moment they reached their height, their apex, as far as she could raise, was that torrential? Did it just go bam like that? Did it just cascade down, or was it? Describe that. What did that look like? So it was barely sprinkling, and as soon as she reached to the top, it just downpoured instantaneously. It wasn't like a slow progression. It was very instant.
What did she do when that happened? What was her expression?
She had her eyes closed and she was just standing there with her hands up in the air for a few seconds, and she was just holding it there.
Did the rain ever subside when she left, or what happened with that?
It was still downpouring for a few minutes after that, and then it stopped.
So you've never seen this woman before or afterward? Is that a fair statement?
Yes, I've never seen her. She was just a stranger.
How old do you think she was?
She was probably in her or early 30s, I would say.
Early 30s. Okay, she's a little older than you are.
Yes.
Did you and your friends talk? Did any of your friends see what happened?
They saw that I was staring at her, but they weren't really paying attention.
Okay.
I would just say I'm a very observant person, so I'm always observing my surroundings. But I did mention to my friends, I was like, oh, this is kind of odd. Like, do you see what she's doing? But they just didn't think anything about it.
Okay.
And they weren't watching her at the time that it happened when she rose her hands up.
In your opinion, when you made eye contact with her, did you feel any disturbance in your spirit? I mean, I'm assuming you're a Christian. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
Okay. Did you feel anything, a check in your spirit, as we would say? Did you feel anything like that?
Yes, I got goosebumps. It freaked me out. It was very odd, and I had never seen anything like that before in my life. It kind of made me feel uneasy.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to that?
No, that's it.
Wow. Well, Jessica, thank you so much for coming on the record. It sounds like she was practicing a form of divination, a form of witchcraft. She more than likely has a familiar spirit. She's certainly possessed on some level. And the fact that she's able to do this, shamans do the same thing. So we know that when you're in league with a familiar spirit, or you've given something over to the dark side will work for you, as it were. And that's what it sounds like to me. But thanks for coming on the record, Jessica. Really appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to add before I let you go?
That is all for Shay. Thank you, LA. I appreciate you for having me on here.
Well, thank you for your boldness in coming on the record. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, of course. Thank you.
So there you have it, folks. Something happened. She had an encounter. I'm not 100% certain, but from just what she described, what Jessica described to me, I would say that this woman was conjuring a familiar spirit, specifically a water spirit, and that thing manifested. And that's the way the game is played. Shamans do this. Witch doctors do this. Medicine men do this. They have power. Where does that power come from? It comes from Hell's Kitchen. It comes from the dark side. The price, your soul. That's the price. So you get the power, but you pay with your soul. It's all very real.
Alan Matthews, I've seen a UFO.
I've seen a UFO.
I saw a UFO.
A UFO.